I have here, this picture here, the first delivery we ever made to space. Now I'm going to make a confession here on camera, which I don't know if I've told Tim or Ian, and then, everyone got very drunk and everyone stole everything. The show allowed me to say goodbye to handmade structures and hello to this. So when I graduated from the Royal College of Art, by this time I was working with a couple of brothers called the Sado brothers, and we'd found out that Tom Dixon had opened a shop in Notting Hill called Space, and him or one of the people I think had working with him was happy to take on some of our products, the fruit bowls. Because each one of them was handmade, they were prone to having punctures, and you didn't know they had a puncture until you'd left them up for a while. And so when we delivered all of the first products, we had to deliver them all inflated. So I have here, this picture here is actually the first delivery we ever made to space in 1995 of our inflatable fruit bowls, and we also did some picture frames as well at the time. The success was that we had to keep making these products, which meant that we were spending all our time making stuff rather than designing stuff. Imagine you spent years learning to design, then you design a product that you become successful with, and then all of a sudden you're a manufacturer making your product to sell it. So all this is happening, and then a lucky break happens. We get a phone call from an architect called Tim Pine, who was designing the first ever 100% design in London, and they needed an inflatable paddling pool, a big one, made in a very funky shape for the foyer at 100% design. So I said, look, I'll make you your paddling pool, but you give us a stand at 100% design. We had no money for a stand, so we did a good trade. They got the paddling pool, we got the stand. Now I'm going to make a confession here on camera, which I don't know if I've told Tim or Ian, but I kind of knew that I didn't know how to make this paddling pool watertight. I never asked them why they wanted a paddling pool at a trade show, but they obviously wanted it for a reason. Anyway, we built this paddling pool. They're there, we got our stand, everything's great. We go home, the launch of the show is the next day, then I get a phone call. The paddling pool was burst and the water has flooded the foyer, which is obviously an absolute nightmare. And luckily for us, both Tim and Ian, who was the director of 100% Design, had a very good sense of humor and allowed us to keep our stand at the show in the promise that we would make good and do something else in the future for them. We could see very quickly the demand was there to invest into making some tools, but we knew that we didn't have enough money to manufacture all of them. We had to choose two because we could only afford the tools for two. And we'd found a really nice company in the UK called Penguin Products. It's unfortunately no longer around, but they supported us to make the tools and start the first run. And so this show was like cementing our conviction to make the investment, plus also the journey of like what were people really attracted to. So the show allowed me to say goodbye to handmade structures and hello to this. Now I found this is actually an old Pax one. We're able to manufacture, I'm literally opening it for the first time in a long time. We're able to manufacture the products and we didn't have to hand make the fruit bowls anymore. So I'm going to blow this up. I used to be able to do that in one go, but like now, so you see here, we have the fruit bowl. So from that moment, that happy accident, when I was making the pop-up toaster, we journey through the degree show and then the chance of doing 100% design to the point that that actually gave the justification to tool this up and make the first product. Now look, this isn't a nuclear submarine or a complex product. This is a simple little inflatable. But when you've come as a designer out of college and you don't know really what you're doing commercially, this was a massive step to go through that whole process, to prove the process from end to end. And I kept this picture here because we showed it earlier. What's great is the picture in here. This one in here is the first accidental fruit bowl that I made. And this one is in the V&A Museum in their collection. We did a show there in 1998. So only 3 years after college, I had my first mini retrospective where this fruit bowl presides. So this is now I know is kept safely, the original one, the only one multicolored. And then we go all the way to this product. And you know, the amount of people that put them on their head and do stuff like that with it and all of these other bits. And I like that because I like the fact that people invent what they want for it. You mean I came up with lots of cool narratives around this as well, like the fact that it looks a bit like bananas and the petals are soft, so the fruit bowl is protected. And you know, my favorite, which we use, is 99% air, 100% reusable. You know, compact products, reusable over and over again, use them when you need them, pack them away when you don't want them. There's a whole narrative of fantastical things that inflatables can give you. But ultimately for me, this proved the model, this proved the process that we could go from the opportunity of chance and take it all the way through to a manufactured product, which we were then, by this point, selling around the world. So there's just so many projects that we got involved with by this simple process of taking that all the way through to a conclusion. And what I like is, like, I just bought a few things here. So this is the infamous postcard. So this was the first kind of small thing that was done, and this was one of Mike's projects at college. This is so cool. It's like just the simplest Inflate product ever. And I know for people now that use the internet and TikTok and everything, this is like pre-TikTok. This is what you did when you were TikToking in the 90s. You had an inflatable postcard and you could actually mail this. So you could mail it either inflated or deflated. Obviously it's incredibly annoying because it weighed not much, but it went through, like, had to go through the big machine. So you could put a small postage stamp on it, but it was, you know, more of a pain for them. And then this is the other product that at that time that we launched, was the egg hoop. And we really thought that people would migrate to the more, I was going to say more sensible products, but I don't think when you do inflatable products, you can claim anything is actually sensible. But this was the product that everybody loved. You know, they were the most cost effective, but the most surreal on one level, but also they kind of looked like little UFOs. And I think there was the UFO element, but also people loved the smell, the nostalgia. But the thing with this product was it went on to become a really big seller. And this became a calling card for us. And basically we're able to open many doors and brought us into contact with a lot of bigger companies, even though this is tiny. And you know, where we are now with the structures, it's amazing that this could be such a pivotal piece in it. So very quickly from 96, 97, 98, it was almost like we could design anything inflatable. Anything I thought of as an inflatable I could do. I had the machine, so I could make it inflatable whenever I wanted. So everything was on tap. And actually to this day, I still have my welding machines. I still make inflatables because it's so immediate and so much more. I love it. Everyone in my studio calls it my happy place. I still love making inflatables. We were fortunate enough to get approached by Alessi, who were like one of my hero companies when I started Inflate. I mean, I was really super wanted to be involved in what they were. They were like the Italian pinnacle of product design for me. But this is where there was this moment where, like, do you become a designer and design your products for other people to produce and capitalize upon? Or do you want to go on this journey as the producer, the designer maker? And I chose not to go on the journey with the designer and selling to the other producers, to keep it in-house. And it's funny, I'm thinking about it now, I mean, I don't know whether it's the right or wrong decision. I'm incredibly happy with the journey I've been on, but I don't know what the journey would have been the other way, so it's very hard to tell. But I do know that because I love this opportunity of chance concept and I believe in it fully, part of that is being hands-on. And if you're not hands-on, can you do that? And so I think when I stripped it back, losing control potentially is an issue to that part of the process, which we have now with Airclad as well. I just found this, which I really like, which was an invite. Thursday, the 18th of July, 1996, At Home, at Work was the title of the invite. And we did this party called At Home, at Work, because we lived and worked in the same place, so it's very obvious, at home, at work. And in the studio, we'd put out all of the prototypes that we'd made of all the things we were doing, all the stuff going on. So it's like a showroom of prototypes. Then we built this bar area, so it's free drinks, and everything was all super cool. We had all the prototypes, and we'd even made like inflatable seats just for the party for people to sit on. And then, everyone got very drunk. And everyone stole everything, and all our prototypes went. So all of the early prototypes we made went walking off down Old Street. So after our party, there was rumors that people were wondering what people are doing walking down the streets with all sorts of inflatable things. So it's nice seeing this, to remember that, I don't mind that they stole it. I just hope that they kept it and used it and enjoyed it, because at the end of the day, one of the things is, as a designer, is, you're looking to do the very best you can, but you don't want to get too precious about it and hang on to it. There's a lot to be done, a lot to learn and move on from. So Inflate, this sort of journey to Inflate and these products and everything else, all those bits have been really fantastically beneficial in helping me see like a lot of aspects of design and life, but at the same time, just enjoying it, just actually enjoying what we do. I remember to clap.